Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girmaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girmaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girbharadari Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Follow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Nectar go Haribo, 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 God Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Go Premanandi. Sri Sri Radhanath ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Purports ki, Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Those lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the 13th chapter, the 5 most potent forms of bhakti. We'll read the invocation or the prayers to the Goswamis if you can follow. Everybody together. Na na shastra vicharanaika nipano sadharma samstapako lokanam itakarino tribhuvane manyo sharanya karo Radha Krishna Padhara Vinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Srijiva Gopalako. Offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and their word taken shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Sri Sat Goswami Prabhu's ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksharam Malitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscham. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the Madhya Leela, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives very explicit instructions to Sanatana Goswami in connection with this 5 potent items of bhakti. And this is a verse from the Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text 128. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vasa Sri Murtira Sradaya Savana. He says one should associate with devotees, chant the holy names of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura and worship the deity with faith and veneration. So this is the instruction given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, on different occasions, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met for 10 days. He discussed the science of bhakti. One time to Rupa Goswami, and another time to Sanatana Goswami. In this way, they became the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in spreading this Krishna consciousness for the for our time, for the modern times. So Rupa Goswami in turn got the instruction to print this Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and the Upadeshamrita, among many books, the Nectar of Instruction. And these are very, very valuable assets for the devotees practicing sadhikas. We all are practicing devotees to come to the point of perfection at some point. We'll get to prema, hopefully. Prema, love of God, which we all are hankering for, isn't it? But in this chapter, Bhagavad Gita 13 deals with, right from the second chapter to the 16th chapter, deals with sadhana bhakti. And sadhana bhakti is made up of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. So, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means, we're coming from a very foreign kind of elements of, and then getting into bhakti, getting into Krishna consciousness. So there's a period of where we have to purify the consciousness. So Vaidhi means following the rules and regulations of devotional service. And gradually we're advancing, and we can all see the tangible results of that. Isn't from our time we joined Krishna consciousness, and to the time we are now, most of us are fortunate to live in the ashram, isn't? And practice very nicely. And all the 5 potent items are within the ashram, isn't? Residing in Mathura. It's like, he says, wherever Lord Chaitanya is worshipped, that is Vrindavan, right? Advaita Acharya said that, wherever you are, my Lord, that is Vrindavan. That is Vrindavan. So we have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Murti form here. So this is also Mathura Vas, residing in the holy Dham. No, he's non-different. Yes. It is non-different. Doesn't mean we shouldn't go and visit the holy Dham. That is also very nice if we get the mercy to go and take darshan and take shelter and hear from the saintly persons there. And in that way, increase our bhakti, our devotional activities. We come back charged up, isn't it? And we want to preach. That is our mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is to spread the Sankirtan movement, is to spread the message, the gospel of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally has come to do that. And he is none other. We know that he is Radha and Krishna combined. He is a combination of both. And he's come to propagate the chanting of the holy names. So it's a very explicit instruction is given to Sanatana Goswami. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, Sri Murtira Sadaya Sevana. And here we will explain how this Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada summarizes these Rupa Goswami's instructions very nicely in the purpose of that. Chapter 30. Rupa Goswami has stated that 5 kinds of devotional activities, namely residing in Mathura, worshipping the deity of the Lord, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, serving a devotee and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, are so potent that a small attachment to any of these 5 items can arouse devotional ecstasy even in a neophyte. That we can come to the stage of bhav very quickly, just by these process. So even for a neophyte, that gives us some hope, isn't it? That we can also achieve that. Regarding worship of the form of the Lord or deity, Rupa Goswami has written the following verse. My dear friend, if you still have any desire to enjoy the company of your friends within this material world, then don't look upon the form of Krishna, who is standing on the bank of Kesi Ghat, a bathing place in Vrindavan. He is known as Govinda, and his eyes are very enchanting. He is playing upon his flute, and on his head there is a peacock feather, and his whole body is illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. The purport of this verse is that if someone becomes attached to the Sri Murti or deity of Krishna by worshipping at home, then he will forget his relationship of so-called friendship, love, and society. Thus, it is the duty of every householder to install deities of the Lord at home and to begin the process of worshipping along with all of his family members. This will save everyone from such unwanted activities as going to clubs, cinemas, and dancing parties, and smoking, drinking, etc. All such nonsense will be forgotten if one stresses the worship of the deities at home. So for householders, Prabhupada even stressed that householders should worship deities. Because deities, they take the energy, they accept the energy of, the sentiments of whatever we meant to repose to each other as husband and wife or lover, whatever. So we repose that to the deity, and in that way, the attachment for, it mentions here that for family, friends, and so-called social, we gradually lose that and get a taste for worshipping the deity. And we see that, very explicitly when I first came here. Well, first day I entered this temple, the very first day, I walked into this temple and I said, wow, what is this? Where have I been? Why shouldn't I come here earlier? And I saw that beautiful, I can remember the outfit they had, that I can still remember that it was a mauvish dot. This was in 1986. I don't know if they still have that outfit. And I looked at these deities and I was so attracted by them, I don't know, for some reason. Because when we grew up around temples that were, with demigods, and in those temples there was no kind of, you go there, maybe when they have a festival or something, you'll see people, or there's some kind of activity going on. And other than that, it's just like closed all the time. There's no kind of activity at all. But when I came here, I saw everything is so enlivened. There's devotees, there's people, there's deities, and I felt very enlivened by that. And I think the Prabhupada, he introduced that just to arouse the conditioned souls who are suffering out there, but just by seeing the deity, unknowingly they get purified. Even if they come once in their lifetime, they see the deity. And I sat for hours. I think I sat there, and I was just looking at this, mesmerized by these deities. And of course, that day was a changing in my life. I just decided that I would spend more time here and be part of this Hare Krishna movement for some, and I never went back. So this is the potency of that, and of course everything else comes, the association of the devotees, hearing Bhagavad Katha. Why is Bhagavad Katha so important? Why they mention not any other Katha? Srimad Bhagavatam. Why Srimad Bhagavatam? Because Bhagavatam, Vyasadevi, in the second verse of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma projito kaitavona paramo. He says, this Bhagavatam, it exposes all the cheating religion, Dharma projito, kaitavo dharma. I mean, that is cheating, exposes those things that are cheating, that are materially motivated. Was when he separated the Vedas, he divided the Vedas into four: Atharva, Saima, Yajur, like Rig Veda, just to cater for the whims of the people. He thought this will be an easier way for them to assimilate, but he wasn't feeling satisfied. But because all these are very materially motivated, people worship or they perform these different types of prescribed duties just for some material. Jai Sri Sri Radhanath ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki Jai. Nasta prayasya bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavad Uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati. Says by regularly attending or hearing Bhagavatam, all that is troublesome to the heart can be nullified, and one develops loving devotional service by serving the devotee Bhagavat and the book Bhagavat. The book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. So this is why it is so potent. And of course, there's many descriptions. The Bhagavatam is the Amala Purana. It is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. Right? Therefore, Bhagavat is so important to hear Bhagavat Katha. And we should develop some taste, gradually, some taste for that. To hear Bhagavatam, to even recite Bhagavatam. This is so purifying. So these are very potent. Rupa Goswami further writes, my dear foolish friend, I think that you have already heard some of the auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam which decries seeking the results of fruitive activities, economic development and liberation. I think that now it is certain that gradually the verses of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describing the pastime of the Lord will enter your ears and go into your heart. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it said that unless one has the ability to throw out, just like garbage, the fruitive results of ritualistic ceremonies, economic development, becoming one of the supreme, or getting salvation, one cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the stumbling blocks of that. Therefore, Narad, after Vyasadeva was compiled, or he divided the Vedas in, he still was feeling some despondency, like something was missing. So in his ashram, he was regretting what he did that was not right. And just then Narad Muni comes. Narad Muni comes to point out what was his deficiency, what he didn't do, or what he should do. And he said, you were not describing the Supreme Lord sufficiently. So Vyasadeva goes back into meditation, and he comes back, and therefore he recites the first verse of the Bhagavad, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then the second verse, Dharma Projita Kaitavuna Paramo. Is convinced, yes, this Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence or the ripened fruit that will kick out all other types of cheating religions, cheating or materially motivated religions. And therefore, by constantly or regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, it says all that is troublesome to the heart, they diminish, gradually they diminish. They diminish. And we know that. We can attest to that. Yes, The more we hear Bhagavatam, the more we give up our material desires, our material connections, our material so-called, sometimes in the mind. Mind is always disturbed, isn't it? And this is the best cure for the mind, the mad mind. In the above two verses, one cannot understand Srimad. So the Bhagavatam deals exclusively with devotional service. Only one who studies Srimad Bhagavatam in the spirit of renunciation can understand the pastimes of the Lord, which are described in the 10th canto. In other words, one should not try to understand the topics of the 10th canto, such as the Rasa Leela, love dance, unless he has spontaneous attraction for Srimad Bhagavatam. One must be situated in pure devotional service before you can relish Srimad Bhagavatam as it is. One must be situated in pure devotional service. One must be engaged in sadhana bhakti already. Because all these things, the chanting of Hare Krishna, they all kind of foment our hearing and of Bhagavatam also. And hearing Bhagavatam also foments why we chant Hare Krishna. Actually, the whole purpose of the Vedas, of studying the Vedas, is to come to that conclusion that Krishna is God, and what is the Yoga Dharma for this age of Kali. In different ages, different Yoga Dharmas were there. But especially in this Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy names are most potent. They have the most potency because they can give you love of God very quickly, very, very quickly. In the above two verses of Rupa Goswami, there are some metaphorical analogies that indirectly condemn the association of materialistic society, friendship, and love. People are generally attracted to society, friendship, and love, and they make elaborate arrangements and strong endeavors to develop these material contaminations. But to see the three murtis of Radha and Krishna is to forget such endeavors for material association. So the deity is not for some show, or it's just we see just marble or statue. No, it's if we see like that, then it'll appear to us like that, or wood, or paint, whatever. But if we see the deity as non-different from the Supreme Lord Himself, Radha Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada, we perform Guru Puja. That deity is non-different from Srila Prabhupada. And the potency comes when we chant the Guru Vandana prayers. I always used to polish that Guru Vandana with brasso. And whenever I did that, I sold a Bhagavatam set. So try that. That is so potent. Polishing that, because we have to learn the words also and the meaning of what it means, isn't it? The Guru Vandana prayers and the Guru Vastakam prayers. Not that we just sentimentally sing it every morning, but we have to understand the message of the worship of Guru, the spiritual master is so important. But to see the three murtis of Radha and Krishna is to forget such endeavors for material association. Rupa Goswami composed this verse in such a way that he was seemingly praising the material association of friendship and love, and was condemning the audience of Sri Murti or Govinda. This metaphorical analogy is constructed in such a way that things which seem to be praised are condemned, and things which are to be condemned are praised. The actual import of this verse is that one must see the form of Govinda if one wants to forget the nonsense of material friendship, love, and society. So the attraction, the attachment, then all the other, gradually they dissipate because the senses have to be engaged. Isn't the senses have to be engaged? If they're not engaged in Krishna, then engaged in Maya, in material consciousness. So, therefore, these are all very, very scientifically. It's a science about Krishna consciousness. When we see the deities, when we take darshan, that means all our attraction, all our energy for attracting to see this form goes into the deity. And there's nothing more beautiful than every other thing pales in comparison. Even seeing Miss World or any other film star or whatever is a pale attraction to see Srimati Radharani. Or for the woman, Krishna, then seeing Mr. Universe or some handsome, so-called, and they all pale when we see the beautiful forms of the deities. But then again, if we don't get a taste, then we still, we will be attracted to these things. Yes, we will. We will, definitely. Because the senses have to be engaged somehow. And the Lord of the senses is who? Krishna is known as Rishikesh. If we allow him to control our senses, if he sits in our heart and controls our senses, Rishikesh. Rishikesh, Bhakti Uchate. The senses have to be engaged in its proper constitution. The nature of the soul is also active principle. We cannot suppress the nature of the soul. And the nature of the soul is wanting bliss, pleasure seeking. Isn't? Anandamaya. Pleasure seeking. Because the Lord is known as Anandamaya Vyasat. He's a reservoir of all pleasure. And because we're part and parcel of him, so we're also in that mood of looking for pleasure, pleasure seeking. But when we come to the material world, the soul somehow is put into forgetfulness. Ahankar, the false ego, dominates. The false ego, when the soul becomes steeped in material consciousness, then the ahankar, the false ego, takes over and controls and gives them this false sense of identity. Isn't it? So all these have to be cleared. All this garbage, Prabhupada used the word, garbage, dirty things, isn't it? We have to purge. Another word is to purge the mind, purge the heart. Like when we take, to cleanse the stomach, we take castor oil. Isn't it? A purgative or whatever you take, laxative. So it cleanses, isn't it? So likewise, this Bhagavatam like that, hearing Bhagavatam is like, it purges. It's like a purgative that cleanses us from all material affection. And Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita also, when in the 3rd chapter we were reading yesterday, how the importance of taking prasadam. Yajna shishta nisha santo muchante sarva kilbisai. Says we should first eat that is offered in sacrifice. Other than that, we are eating sin, pap. We are eating sin. And then he goes on to, in the purport, Prabhupada says, this prasadam acts as an antiseptic, immunizes us against all material affection. Material affection, like is mentioned here, isn't friendship, socializing. Not that we don't socialize among devotees, yes, but it's on a transcendental platform. It's not on a mundane material platform. We associate together, we chant the holy names, we take prasadam. This is sadhu sangha, we're hearing. This is sadhu sangha. So this is all very, very potent association with devotees. Serving devotees is also another, but it's the secret to make advancement. What's that verse, Raghunath? Lokabandhu used to, Prabhu used to quote, Shushusho Sadadanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Syan Matsavaya Vipra. He says, by serving devotees of Vipra, great Mahat Seva, great service is done. And by engaging in such activities, one develops the affinity to hear about Krishna. So this is the secret of advancement. By serving those Mahats, Mahat Seva, great, those Mahats, Vipra, those great, those freed from vice, says like that. Therefore, when we develop this wonderful mode of coming to Guru Puja, offering, it is all very wonderful. Not sentiment in such, but it's offering of Pushpahanjali when we're offering. It's of love, isn't it? In appreciation of the spiritual master. Yasya deva para bhakti, yatha deva tatha guru, tasyaite yatha karta, prakashante mahatmanaha. What that means, he says. What is that? One should develop implicit faith in both the spiritual master and Krishna. One should develop implicit faith in the spiritual master and Krishna. And that way, it says all the imports of the Vedas can be revealed to you. Prakashante, prakashante. Prakash means it manifests. It manifests just by this connection with spiritual master. So serving like that. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes this famous verse, Sadhu Sangha Sharva Shastra Kai, Sadhu Sangha Lava Matra Sarva Siddhi Hai. He says, just by momentarily seeing a sadhu or hearing momentarily, he says all the imports of the Vedic knowledge can be Sharva Shastra Kai, Sharva Shastra, all the imports of the Vedic can be revealed to you in one stroke. That's the potency of a pure devotee. Someone free from vice. Yeah. Sri Rupa Goswami has similarly described the transcendental nature of relishing topics which concern Krishna. A devotee once said, "It is very astonishing that since I have seen the personality of Godhead, who is washed by the tears of my eyes, the shivering of my body, and he has made me a failure in executing my material duties. Seeing him, I cannot remain silently at home. I wish to go out to him always." The purport of this statement is that as soon as one is fortunate enough to contact a pure devotee, one must be anxious immediately to hear about Krishna, to learn about Krishna, or in other words, to become fully Krishna conscious. Similarly, there is a statement about hearing and chanting the Maha Mantra. It is said that saints have been able to hear the vibrating strings of the veena in the hands of Narad, who is always singing the glories of Lord Krishna. Now the same sound vibration has entered my ears, and I'm always feeling the presence of the Supreme Personality. Gradually I'm becoming bereft of all attachment for material enjoyment. So this is also, we have that tangible, we can also feel that tangible change, isn't? When we're chanting Hare Krishna for many years now, most of you. We've developed some taste for chanting. And gradually all the mundane, they gradually are dissipating, gradually. Not that overnight all these things will go away. No, they gradually will dissipate. Of course, to the degree we want to practice Krishna consciousness, to that degree we will advance also. We cannot be too casual. We'll end up casualty. But we should have a sense of urgency of practicing Krishna consciousness. There's an urgency about it. And Bhaktisiddhanta very graphically explained that when the first meeting with Prabhupada was, for the first time, Prabhupada is very reluctant to meet the sadhu, so-called sadhu, that his cousin or friend was describing. And he says, no, they're all the same. But no, you must come meet the sadhu. And Prabhupada reluctantly went to meet, and then there was this exchange in the very first meeting, and a wonderful transcendental exchange was there. And Prabhupada said, and Bhaktisiddhanta, he stressed on the point that this Krishna consciousness cannot wait for who becomes the next president or the next ruler. No, it cannot. It is the urgency about it. And Srila Prabhupada, when he went back and he was thinking, and he was struck by that, and he was so enamored by this transformation of Bhaktisiddhanta, he was so intrigued. And that changed his whole mood about momentum of taking this process, of taking the message of Bhaktisiddhanta very, very seriously. And because of Prabhupada, we are here today. Prabhupada at that initial meeting took the message of Bhaktisiddhanta. The urgency of this cannot wait. It has to go. And Prabhupada, though it took him time, took him like 40 years, he was meditating on that, waiting for the right moment to come to the West. And of course we know everything else is history, how Prabhupada spread this movement by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his predecessor Acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had this vision of how different nations will come together and chant the names of Krishna. When will that day come? He was praying like that. When will that day come? He had that hope, that foresight. When will that day come? So Prabhupada came to fulfill that desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and of course the message of Lord Chaitanya, to take it to every town and village. Every town and village. So Prabhupada took that. Not only meant that it was to be stay in India. No, it means to go all over the globe, internationally. And this is how Prabhupada established this ISKCON for that purpose. International, so that we can perform these 5 potent items of what Rupa Goswami is explaining here. So wherever he established temples, then there's deity worship. There was training of brahmanas to do the worship. And Bhagavatam is a standard. Everywhere, every temple is Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita sandwich program for our own enlightenment, for the devotees to take shelter of, not just live in a temple. No, the temple is meant vibrant. There's a vibrancy about the temple, and people come and they see, yes, the devotees are engaged very nicely, and they get inspired by that. Then deity worship is going on. the deities. The other day was some visitors and they were from Switzerland. And I was telling them that Mlata was doing, I said, she's from Estonia. And I said, whoa, she's from Estonia. And they were so kind of interested to hear more and more about this wonderful. So this is how the temple attracts so many wonderful people to come. It's not that by chance they come, it's by some good fortune that they come. And the first impressions are always very, very, what we give them will stay permanently in the heart. Like how I felt the first day I came. That impression is always very lasting. It will last. Isn't the impression? So we also have to give, because people, for how long, they've been in the material world, and we know the material world. We have a taste of that. We know it's not a pleasant place, and they're coming out here. And if you don't give them the proper, or if you harsh to them, they'll have a bad reflection of this Krishna consciousness. No, I will never want to go there again. I had this bad experience. And we hear that from some people. We heard from time to time, we hear that they had a bad experience. So that's not how Prabhupada would not be pleased by that. Prabhupada was, he wanted whoever comes, give them some prasadam. Because after so many lifetimes they're coming, who knows? And we've created some good fortune for them. Just by taking some prasad, seeing the deity, or hearing some katha. Like in the Sunday program, so many people come. They may come out of curiosity, what is going on here. But still they will make benefit. They will. Yeah. They will make so much benefit. Even if they just come for the Sunday program. Take prasadam. Yeah, but gradually they will change, hopefully. This vision of prasadam is also potent. All these things, some wonderful activities can be in Krishna. It's not boring. People say, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. It must be boring. You don't go there, you don't see. What do you do for fun? They cannot fathom how wonderful this Krishna consciousness, how blissful it is, isn't it? How wonderful it is. It's like a panacea, a cure for the conditioned souls to come. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Yes? Somebody has a question there.
A few weeks ago, it was Nishingadev's appearance day, and I was assisting at the Food for Life, so I thought, let me come quickly up and take darshan of the lordships. And I met a colored woman with a little girl. So she had already come into the temple and she was walking out. So I greeted her and I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. And she was like taken aback, and then there was full tears in her eyes. So she held my hand, spontaneously. So I didn't know what to do. So I wanted to bring her back into the temple, but she was in a hurry. So I met, what's her name? Ujvala Dasi. So she asked if we got any books to give her, something that doesn't have a cost to it. So she went into came into the book table, got a magazine, and we gave her Back to Godhead. I took her details, invited her to a program, and told her whenever she's here, phone me. She didn't phone me, but she came for a Sunday program 2 weeks ago. She sent me a video clip of her granddaughter dancing in kirtan. Little girl, about 10 years old, with one of I think it was Ganga Goswami, she was dancing with her ecstatically, and she played, and she only wanted to hear the Maha Mantra when she got home. A little girl of 10 years old. So it works miracles if it's how we receive the guest. If we have a long face, or we having personal issues, or we having a bad day, but make sure we wear a smile, greet the guests with warmth, loving feeling, so they'll want to come back. Because many years ago, Indra Swami Maharaj, there was a class and he was giving how to receive guests, and he said many lifetimes. After many lifetimes, they're coming here.
Right.
So we should actually we should be waiting for them, because it's our duty. It's Prabhupada's mission. Prabhupada wouldn't want us to chase anybody away, or to be taken back and because of a bad experience. So that's my personal, but I always want to encourage, doesn't matter who's coming through their doors, let's just give them a warm welcome and a big Haribol.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Well, that every day we see people, first time, even people live around here, they don't know this temple exists. They don't know this beautiful temple. Even people live around. One day I was going up this road and just up here by Rajbansi, I sold 5 Bhagavad Gitas on that. Within like 2 hours, I guess, I was on that road. And people never came to the temple, so I invited them and said, please come for the Sunday program. People living right here, they don't. So we have to go out and outreach. There's people think, it's exclusively for those, very. Of course, we have to create a kind of that we are open to everybody. Also, not that we are holier than thou kind of attitude. We have this kind of I am mightier. Or if they are engaged in sinful activity, we should look down upon them. No, we should show more compassion. All the more we should show compassion, knowing that we also went through these things. And this Krishna consciousness is our saving grace, and we have to share it. Otherwise, what is our value here? No, we just hanging around taking space. No, we have to make this place vibrant and reach out to the people. Yes, thank you for that. So like there's many people come, out of curiosity, or they just come, but we have to make them feel like they're most important people. We have to make them feel like that. Hare Krishna. Raghunath Pratap.
I was just thinking of the 5 most potent forms of devotional service you're speaking about, and if you perfect any one, you can, if you're attracted to any particular one, you can also reach perfection.
Yes.
But the thing is about deity worship, for people who are practitioners in Krishna consciousness and dressing the deity and worshipping the deity, must know that that's an extension, that's preaching Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, they'll be preaching by default. See, like you were attracted to it, but the person who's dressing the deity must know that this is also preaching.
Yes.
Otherwise, they'll be preaching by default.
Yeah, Prabhupada established that.
Yeah.
Everything is about preaching.
Yeah, so we have to know that also. Sometimes we think, or sometimes we think that the devotees who do deity worship think that's the only thing you should do, So that's also there. So one has to be careful like that, yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Madhurya? Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Goswami Prabhupada ki, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.